Hey, how you guys doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Well, welcome back. My very few people that love to listen to me scamper on about religion, what it means to me. Yeah, that's a bunch of bunk. What you get out of this is straight up Bible talk. You know, I'm giving it to you the way nobody else will give it to you. When we are in the middle of discussion, and we are discussing at this time Genesis. All right. We've gone a few blocks along the way. We have run into Noah. All right. Noah winds up being at the end of the list of the worlds, number 4 that we had just come across. And of course, with 5, we get him. Oh, he 5 represents the body, so they build in the ark, you know. The ark represents all those people, his brothers and sisters and stuff like that, and their wives. So, there's all the creepy things and all that. It all adds up to 5. Every time they come up, oh, you got to get the people, the birds, and the beasts and the cattle, and you get them all together, you get 5. It's the way. That's why it keeps coming out. It's being 5 on number 5, and it's just beautiful. All right, this is for my friend like Bertie Bird, just to show you that this is what it means to be mechanical. All right, here we are talking about uh, the Ark of all things. That thing that's been found on Mount Ararat. Right? Oh yeah, the real live thing. Bullshit. All right, you can go and find a destroyed church that someone's named Pergamos. You can say that. Oh yeah, that really does exist down here on Earth, but doesn't matter. It was used as a reference as the midpoint in our body called the solar plex, and represents the 3rd chakra. It's just so beautiful, but that's how it works. And it can be backed up when you're talking about, the 5th vial being poured out on Satan's seat. This is the 3rd chakra, because all of these little pouring things being poured into you, the grapes, you're the guy that's taking it from these angels. All right? But that's at the end of the Bible. But that's because you've gone through and you followed the way, you obeyed, your mother and father, or you honored them. You've connected to God, and you're riding on the white horse. So now we're going back for a pass and a review. So we find ourselves back where it all began, back in Genesis. All right. So hang on just a moment while I minus you down so I can get to some reading. And again, I'm going to go doing some synopsis over some of this stuff. All right. Because I don't want to read it all. But 6, when we came to number 6 is going to talk about, this is where people, the fallen angels, oh, God forbid. But anyways, this is basically the introduction of the word. It wound up that this is where religion is brought in, where the God's men, like the daughters of men, or God, but the idea is that it's really, we fall in love with our desires and brings us down to being wives. And so we've found that most of the conversations about this, when you've taken on a wife and you've given up the mother, that's a lower situation, which is what drags Adam out of the heaven. All right. That's what drags everyone, because he's representing both male and female. He's representing man, have taken them all directly out of heaven, because it just doesn't work that way. You've got to live your life in reality, whatever you would call that. So yeah, they were giants in the earth those days, right? And this is because the male mind made it with itself, because this is when they talk about the second beast being her religion, they don't just poke that up and throw this around. This has been the problem from the get-go. It's always been the beast. There's no switching around or anything like that, you know. We become this beast when we are detached from God, and all of us come in detached from God. You have to do your work first. And so we found that God was upset about man. All they think about is wickedness. You know. So, you know, this was the idea. She said, but you, Noah, are the nicest person on earth. You, I find beauty. I find something wonderful with you. But anyways, it all came down to Noah, and Noah is supposed to give the grace from God's cursed on this earth. He was going to show us, and he does. He winds up getting the covenant from God, which is the Rainbow Bridge. All right, so he doesn't really destroy Earth. No, he just cleans it up. All right. So God's going to tell him he believes he's going to kill all flesh. So he gives Noah the heads up, you know, and then he's going to tell him how to make this gopher wood, this thing. Make thee an ark of gopher wood, and that ye shall make the ark, and that shall pitch it within and without. This is number 5. It's talking about your body, because that's what this is about. He's going to make yourself into a gopher, into an ark. So that's body. All right. That's what we're talking about. It's going to pitch it inside and out. So it's got to be dark. Usually what I used to say was this is the only way the pineal gland will work. But this is the idea that, you know, we can't let any water in from the seawater. We can't let anything in or out. So we pitch it. Generally, what I've always been told is that the pineal gland will not open unless it's in darkness. It has a different thing that it does while we are alive and awake and well, so that when we go into meditation, we're in a dark room, that this photo or this light sensitive part of our body can operate correctly. It's been a while since I've given that information, but basically it has to be dark. And we also know that when we've reached the 6th chakra, which is the limit for most people on earth, it's that waiting spot when people die and they're told, well, you know, you're not ready for you yet. So they have to come back to the ground. So this 6th is a particular stopping ground. And so you wind up, let's see the height. So let's check this out. Follow me. All right. This is number number 15, which represents 6. So it's going to talk about the lift. This is what you have to make it with. This is what you got to do. All right. And so the length of the arc is 300 cubits. The breadth is 50 cubits, and the height is 30 cubits. All right. All of that represents the number 17. Is it number 17? Did I get that right? No, it's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It represents the number 11. I just can't add. So that makes it a 2. So it's referencing the body. It's God's creation. That's what it's referencing. Okay. So, and behold, a window shalt thou make in the ark, and it should be a cubit finished above, and that's above the 30. So what you would get is you get 3 is first, and then you've got to finish this window. This window is that little room, that little box, that little place. This is where heaven's window opens up and the water comes in from. That's what we're talking about. So what you get is 4. It's referencing 4. You've got to do it above this, 1 above the 3. So it makes it a 4, which makes it a traveling situation. where you're going from one mind to the higher mind. And you're using this boat as a reference. And this is how that works. All right. So it also goes on to show them that you have to put a door in its side. Remember, this is the door inside. And that with a lower floor, a second floor, and a third floor. And of course, when we add that window, that's number 4. So those are the 4 stages of consciousness. The lower is Earth. That's the beta conscious. We have the second is alpha. This is when you're losing your skin. You know, you're dropping off your garments. That's the second phase, which is water. And then third becomes air, the fountains of the air. This is what they're talking about when the fountains of the air opened up. This is air. This is when Jesus later on in the New Testament. This is where we meet Jesus. He comes to us in the air. This is where you find him, the Son of Man, coming in the air. That's where you'd find him. Plus, it asks you to go one step further to this window, and that window represents 4. That's heaven. This is the 7th chakra, and is Gog or Magog. That's either open, which it's open for us that make it over to the other side, or it's closed, as it is for Jewish people. It's closed. You can't get past the 6th chakra. That's as far as that's the vine. That's as far as the vine goes to people that are dead. All right. So, anyways, that's the makings of the ark. And it says, but here he says on 17 becomes an 8. 8 is a control number. All right. So 8, number 17 says, and behold, even I do bring a flood of waters on the earth to destroy all flesh. Therein is the breath of life from under heaven, and everything that is in earth shall die. Under heaven, this is where they divide it. Remember, this is everything is under heaven. This is under the 6th. This is the body. Number 7. This is representing earth. It's representing the lower mind. And all these things. Let's see where we at. It says these are under heaven. Remember, heaven was what was above. Heaven that is above is the mother of us all. But I mean, that's what they're saying. But in this particular situation, everything that is in the earth shall die. All right. And with thee I will establish my covenant, and shall come into the ark, thou and thy sons and thy wife and thy sons' wives and thee, and every living thing in the flesh, and this and that, all male, female, all fowls of all kinds. This is again, and take thou unto thee the flood, all the food that you need to deal with. And Noah did what God told him to do. All right, so right now, they're just waiting for the flood to happen. All right. So this was Genesis 6, right? So Genesis 7 should be, all right, well, this should be your wrath. This should be what's going on, right? The Lord said unto Noah, come. 7 is after the works. This is usually when what's going on. This is the actual cleaning and everything's happening. You know, you've come to the air. There's darkness, and now the water is rising. All right, the water is rising. So he's got everybody in the bed in here. Let's see, of every clean beast thou shalt take, so long, and of the fowls you take by 7. And Noah did according to that what the Lord commanded. And Noah was 600 years old when flood waters was upon the earth. So this is 6. This is where they just left us off. All right. We're just about to hit 7. And Noah went in, and his sons and his wives with him. They all went to the ark because the waters of the flood. This is 7. 7 is, you know, this is the cleaning. This is the part that's happening. This is where it's going on. And there went in two and two Noah's ark. This is male and female. And they're talking only about the mind. This is your body going in here, and your brother and your mother and your sisters and their wives. All right, all these guys have come in here, and all those creepy crawly things, and all the beasts of the field. Everybody in there. And on the self-same day, the very same day, when they use this word self-same, they're telling you that it's still continuing. It's a continuation. It's not a, oh, later on, type of thing. But you'll hear that too, like in the meantime, or we'll come across it later. But it's a segue. But these are segues that you find constantly during the first parts of these talks, these books of Noah, books of Moses. All right. So, in the self same day entered Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. I don't know what it is. Josephus. I don't know how you say his name. These are the sons of Noah. And Noah's wife, and the three wives of his sons with them. So you can see that all of these are numbers. This is number 3 of the 4. So the self-same date entered Noah, Shem, Ham, and Josephus. Oh, wow, there's a 4. There's a world that just went in there. We'll have to find out. Noah is the man. We know that. Shem's got to be the age, should be our north. That's our emotions. Josephus, let's see, Shem would be our north. Ham will be our body, and Japheth, or whatever that name would be, the representing the east. All right, the sons of Noah, and with Noah's wife and the 3 wives with his sons. So they're all going to make up the same. There's a party. These are the brethren. All right, brothers, sisters. They went into Noah's ark. This is 6, 15, which represents a 6. That's actually the body. They went into the ark, so they've gone into the body. So, and they that went in were male and female. Now we keep talking the same stuff. The flood was going on for 40 days upon the earth. The waters increased, bare up the ark, and was lifted above the earth. The waters prevailed, and there was an increase greatly upon the earth. And the ark went up upon the face of the waters. Have you heard that before? Remember, God was on the face of the waters. So we must be in spirit. The Spirit of God was on the face of the waters. That was what we heard a few things ago, just a few chapters ago. And the waters prevailed exceedingly upon the earth, and all the high hills were under the whole heaven were covered. 15 cubits upwards did the waters prevail, and the mountains were covered. 15:6. And all flesh died that moved upon the earth. This is usually when you go on, they're talking about the 6th chakra. It's dark, it's blank. This is nothing going on. So this death just happened to everything. Both fowl and cattle and beast and everything that creepeth upon the earth, and every man. That's the lower side of us. And a lot of times in the stories, in all the stories that have anybody locked up in the story, this is when miraculously there's like some kind of a thunder, because usually thunder is accompanied to this particular thing, and the shackles or whatever, or even the doors of the places that they were being contained in were opened. And this is so much like the children, the Hindu, what's her face, Krishna's someone. One of these stories that I talked about, this is what happens. This thing happens, the doors rattle and stuff like that, and the people are let free. That's the whole point of all these stories, is that there's this freedom that comes about when this thing happens. And so what we have here is 15 cubits upward did the waters prevail, mountains covered, and all flesh died, every man. This is the body. This is the man. This is the men in the town have gone to sleep. Devil has been put down, that has taken a leave of absence while this is going on. This is the man side of the body being taken down so that the female side can have its way. All right. And all whose nostrils was the breath of life, and of those was with the dry land. All these people died. They're talking about the dry land. They're talking about our bodies. This is number 4. All in whose nostrils was the breath of life, of all that was in the dry land, they died. Every substance was destroyed that was upon the face of the ground, both man, cattle, creepy things. Let's say both man, cattle, creepy things, fowls of the heaven. They were all destroyed. So it was 5. They were all destroyed. And Noah only remained alive, and they that were with him in the ark. And the waters prevailed upon the earth 150 days. That's 6. We know that that's the way it is because it doesn't stop until it gets to the 7th. Do we have to go any further? Because I want to start talking about this. Terrible. But this is number 7. Now, 8 is generally, well, I don't know. I'm going to stop. All right. 8 is about control. I can guess because we've done this before, but the idea is that he's got to wait till he gets messages, because what we have is the 2 birds that come out. Those are the witnesses. You got to. One goes and likes this. It's a dark plaque. He is representing the left side of the brain, and of course, when they let this out, it enjoys what it sees outside, so it never comes back. So so it was like it must not be ready yet. So they send out the white one who comes back with something. And that's what we like. Well, listen, I've got people coming up. I'd like to talk more about this. I'm going to do a whole nother thing all about that. But anyways, I've come a long ways to just give this all up. But how cool this is. This never happened. This is a sequence of events that goes on in our mind. All right. And I'm also going to redraw this. I'm going to show you what the ark looks like, all right, and in spirit. All right. I love you guys. I'll see you later. Oh, how do we do this? We have to stop like this.